Nope, that's too high. That's too high.
Yeah, no. Oh, okay. Good evening, all you Minties, and welcome back to another special episode of Reelz Talk, our TV reviews, where we'll be doing Wandavision episode 6. You have the amazing Amanda here and my lovely co-host, Uncanny Omar.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us on this Friday evening. We're starting a little bit earlier tonight because at 8 p.m. when we usually have this scheduled, I'm doing a it's our first Patreon Ask Me Anything After Hours kind of deal. So that's why we're doing it now. So we can do this because this is what we do. And we're very excited to talk about this episode. We break it down and talk about some Easter eggs that we both found. We'd love to know what you all found after we talk about it. And then we all go geek out about Wandavision, okay?
Because Wandavision's amazing.
Do I not look like pixelated anymore? Please.
You look great.
Oh, great. All right. Yeah. I'll take that.
It looks really good.
All right. I'll take that. All right. So, in case you haven't seen our show before, we do spoilers. Now, you can stay if you don't care about spoilers, or you can stay if you've watched the show and you want to do the breakdown with us. Maybe you caught something that we didn't, even if you watch this afterwards, like in the comments down below. So we got a lot of things to talk about, like right off the bat, right, Amanda?
I know, we do. But first, let's say hi to some folks. I see Brett 5569 said, "Great episode. My first time joining live. Thank you for joining us live. We really appreciate it. Welcome to the party."
This is a party. This is every time we do this, it's a party. So very excited. Well, I actually started. What is not supposed to be? We always start the shows on time.
Only when it's convenient for Omar that we start these on time.
Are we gonna go there, really? Good evening, guys. It's just gone midnight here in Scotland. Hope you're both well. Thank you. If you're from overseas, we realize that this is really late for you all, really early, some countries. So
we really appreciate you joining us, no matter what time it is.
Yes, no matter what time it is, wherever you are, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Kyle made sure to watch the episode early today. Cool.
Good. I know. That was the first thing I did this morning. Get up, grab some coffee, and watch some WandaVision.
And I did too, because I knew I'd be getting some text messages with spoilers from Amanda. Oh my God, I can't believe so-and-so. And then I'm going to be, I ain't seen it yet. Wait. So I went ahead and watched it. Yeah. All right.
So you ready to get going with our recap? Let's see how I do with this one.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
You got this,
so,
everybody clocker.
So this episode starts with a quick recap of everything going on. And it's funny because they actually show, when they talk about Pietro showing up, they actually show an original clip of Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver getting shot in Age of Ultron. But then you hear the whole he got recasted thing. So it starts off with a recap, immediately kind of goes into this very Malcolm in the Middle type of sitcom. So they start off with this the crazy theme song and this like back and forth crazy action, and we actually have that, and then we also have the original Malcolm in the Middle opening too that kind of shows what they were going for, and it's cute because not that one. That one.
Okay, that's right here, Malcolm in the Middle. Wandavision. Malcolm in the Middle.
And the crazy thing is the kid who plays Billy, whenever he looks at the camera, a little bit looks like what's his name from Malcolm in the Middle? Frankie Muniz.
Oh, Frankie
Muniz. So it's really weird. I was like, great casting, oddly enough. So after the opening, we get the first image is of Billy, and he's talking directly to the camera, breaking the fourth wall. And only the kids do this in the show, which is very reminiscent of Malcolm in the Middle. And he's kind of talking about how their uncle Pietro has come to live with them, and he's this big old man child. He's sleeping on their couch, and he's dressed up in a costume. And for those of us who are comic fans, might recognize that costume as Wiccan's costume, which is,
look at that comparison. We can't be ready.
Yeah, Billy's counterpart, or his, what he would be in the comics. So it's very cute nod. Whether or not he actually dons a costume just like that in the future, we'll see. However, later on we do see that he gets some of those Wiccan powers later on in the show. So him and Tommy are talking about Halloween, and Tommy's giving him some crap because he's obviously like the, I guess not as
One thing, Amanda,
yeah,
we're 2 minutes in and I have to cut you off.
Yeah, I know.
otherwise it wouldn't be that show.
It wouldn't.
The thing that I noticed right off the bat was, okay, obviously Wiccan is literally in your face that, oh, this kid is obviously dressed like Wiccan. And I thought I had a picture. Where the hell is it? There it is. Okay. Now, so he's wearing Wiccan's outfit, but the other kid, he's got a green shirt on, and that's Speed's costume, right? Speed's costume is very similar to Quicksilver's costume, except the color is green instead of blue. So
yes,
there
exactly.
we go. Oh,
so
bye, Jack.
Bye, Jack.
Guess
See you later.
Mom told him he didn't make his bed, so go. Okay, Amanda, now go ahead.
Yeah, so they're preparing for Halloween. We get our first introduction of Evan Peters, Quicksilver, and he is definitely a man-child who is kind of like just bros out. Evan Peters at his finest. Love that actor so much. He did such a good job of playing.
So much that she put 3 damn pictures on this. I couldn't afford any more pictures because she had put so many. Evan, is that him?
Yeah, that's him too in a Singapore photo shoot in a Esquire.
I have that magazine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you probably do. I would say
I missed this one. I don't know where this one's from.
Also from the same magazine's photo shoot.
Did you go to his Instagram and just
I don't know what that's from. I just thought that was awesome. Okay, so here we are. So obviously, see, look the way he's dressed. He's dressed like he's got nowhere to go. He's gonna hang out on the couch.
I have one job during this, and you're taking it.
Sorry, I just want to get this there. So they're talking about Halloween. Wanda comes down in her very reminiscent of her original costume from the comics, and they're making the kids are kind of making fun of the costume, saying she looks like an old Red Riding Hood, and she says, "No, I'm a Sokovian fortune teller," which I was curious.
When she delivered that line, it was so adorable.
Like, it was. She's like, and it was. That was perfect how they could come up with that excuse. And then, of course, Vision walks down the stairs wearing his original, or what looks like the original Vision costume uniform. And it's
his body. It's not much of a uniform.
Yeah, for the comic version of it, the old comic version of himself. And they make a joke that it's a Mexican wrestler. And he goes, "I didn't know you were into Mexican wrestlers so much." She goes, "Ooh, me gusto mucho." And, and which a lot of people I think would have made the jokes back in the day of his outfit kind of looking like a Mexican wrestler.
You can't make jokes like that these days.
No, you can't. But that's probably something that people
you're gonna end up with make Mexican wrestling jokes like
that. So they're planning their
I love arroz con leche. I love that except no cinnamon on mine. But thank you. I love that stuff. Thank you. Wow, I'm hungry. Oh, hey Maya. We're gonna be good today.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's get this recap done. So, because Omar has a timetable to keep for his AMA. Yeah. Okay. So when Vision walks down the stairs, he kind of starts talking to Wanda about how long is Pietro going to stay, and I didn't even realize you had a brother, and weird things like that, which she kind of tries to play off, and then he makes a kind of joke about how he didn't realize he'd be so good with kids, which, what is it called? Gunning. What's that called? You stab a can and you drink it real fast. What does that frat guys do it?
Shotgunning?
Shotgunning a beer. Yeah. Well, they're shotgunning like soda, but it's like,
they're playing video games, and I like that it's wired. So, it's in the 90s.
Late 90s. What are you doing in here, baby? I told you I'm doing my show. Anyways, so afterwards,
I'm man Josh. Thank you.
So they decide. So they're getting ready to go out for Halloween, and Vision's like, "All right, I will see you guys later." And she's like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "I have the neighborhood watch." And she's like, "That wasn't in the plan, or that wasn't planned." And he was like, looks at her, "What do you mean, darling?" And all of a sudden, she's like, never mind, that's fine." And then that's when Pietro steps up and says, "I will go ahead and help. I have an XY chromosome, so I can be the father figure for the night." So, wow.
That was cool.
That's true.
So yes, that's when Pietro, he's not called Quicksilver, is going trick-or-treating with the kids. And now this entire town, by the way, this is something we talked about a little bit in episode 4, 3. It kept growing, right? Now it's immense. It's bigger than the town I live in because
bigger than the town I lived in.
They have just shown how much her magic has expanded this town. Because before we didn't have kids, there were no kids, and now there's a bunch of kids running around. However, we see a limitation to her magic, which is pretty interesting when Vision goes on this walk, because in the outskirts of town, we see that the people that are out there and the kids that are out there aren't making that much noise, and they're doing the same repetitive motions, almost like they're part of the It's a Small World After All.
They're animatronics that are just
animatronics, right? Exactly. So much so that it gets creepy, and it adds to the creepiness that they play the music the entire time. That's a happy go beat 90s kind of style sitcom music, while this lady is literally completely helpless, doing the same act over and over, just going insane,
trying to hang up her ghost
while there's a tear rolling down her face. So I thought that was really cool. Then you as the viewer starts to question, like, oh, she must not be able to reach magic out to here, right? She must be just in control of the people that are around her. So,
which makes sense because it's whatever's in her immediate.
Oh, thanks, Gary. Man, I just got a haircut too, like on Thursday. I'm glad you noticed, dude.
His hair is good. Because I think it's whatever's in her vicinity, and that's whatever she needs for her story. If she had to go to those outer areas, perhaps then all of a sudden she'd be able to access it, but it's not in her immediate vicinity. And so what happens is, Vision lies to her basically and tells her he's going to go in this neighborhood to watch, but as Omar said, he's really going to check out to see what's beyond what he knows of Westview. Meanwhile, Quicksilver joins them and even gets himself and Tommy some awesome costumes.
Yes, speed.
And they plan on doing a lot of pranking, apparently, on this Halloween adventure. Very much what you'd expect of an uncle like him.
You're saying I can relate to that lady at the edge of town.
Yes.
In lockdown since the end of December.
I think everyone can at this point.
You're doing the same thing over and over again. Isn't that the definition of madness?
Yes.
That's really bad for Vision in this episode. I kind of want to see where Vision is going, like what his role. But anyway, we're going to get there. Okay.
Yes, we will. Eventually. So they all go trick-or-treating. Now, meanwhile, while they're going trick-or-treating and Vision's doing his thing, we have to also remember there's something happening on the other side of the barrier. So the Sword agents have brought back the manned missile they had brought in to kind of spy on Wanda that she had found out in the last episode and told him to stay away, right? So it's imbued with a lot of her magic, and they take it back. And Monica's pissed, and she comes in there saying, "What are you doing?" And obviously, at this point, we've realized that Hayward is not the guy we thought he was in episode 1. He clearly has an alternative agenda, which, given the fact that they had Vision's body in a secret lab all those years while he was dead. In Sword, what were they doing to it? It was taken apart and stuff. So clearly they've been doing something with it that entire time. And he calls out Monica for being sympathetic to Superhuman, saying she has no idea what's been going on the last 5 years.
Yeah, because he's gone. He threw it. Man, he was cold. He was like,
he threw in Carol Danvers. He said, you wouldn't be able to handle when your mom died. It's a good thing that you weren't even there. I was like, wow.
Cold shit, dude. Like, talk to some. I'm surprised he didn't knock him out.
He asked Darcy and her, who's the sassy best friend. Like, wow, he was kind of rude, guys. And so Jimmy Woo and both Darcy try to stick up for her. And what happens? Hayward gets them all kicked out. Yeah, that guy. That dickhead. So they're into the process of getting kicked out. But then Jimmy packs.
We can start now. Phil Owens.
Yeah, we'll start. So Jimmy packs a punch.
Sorry, man. I'm gonna stop right there. That's the last one.
So I'm gonna finish this, guys, without any interruptions. So Jimmy packs a surprise punch to one of the agents. Monica starts going. Darcy kind of stands back. She's not gonna get involved. They take some undercover stuff and they decide they're gonna get back in there and figure out what the hell's going on. So while that's going on, we're back doing our trick-or-treating, and Wanda and Quicksilver are kind of having like some discussions and stuff. And she asks him, like, he talks about their memories and stuff. Cause he mentions that remember when we went trick or treating right before we got typhus, and there's this really cute flashback. Yes. of them when they were little children, and some creepy lady was giving them a fish.
They had to split it between the both of them.
Exactly. They spit that weird fish between the both of them.
Right.
So you had that. And then she says, she basically is pointing out how weird it is that, and he even acknowledges that he doesn't have the same face that she remembers. And he makes this comment about, you know, if I was in Shangri-La, I wouldn't want to dredge up something bad from my past. So why not rewrite what he looks like to not dredge up what her past was, right? Which is a very interesting point. So it's clear at this point that this Quicksilver knows exactly what's going on. He's not someone who is a character or a person within the town. He is fully aware. She has no control over him, just like she really has no control over her children, and really soon really no control over Vision anymore either. And so he kind of is there making her start to realize that he's, you know, what is going on with her powers. So in that whole time period, there's other little things that mention that she doesn't necessarily like have control of everything. Like Herb talking about the neighborhood watch, and when she asked him about Vision, he said he's not on duty. And then he says, do you need something changed? When she looked at him like he said he was on duty, as if he was going to change something. So that begs into question how aware is Herb as well? Because that's something that Agnes had done the last episode, where she was like, do you want me to take again? So it's clear that some people might have a little bit more of an understanding or control about what's going on. But are still in control or not in control of their own persons. This
was a really cool Easter egg too. That is not a Marvel Comics Easter egg, but when Speed, I guess, eventually gets his powers, like, you know, she was telling them, the kids, to go out there and go with their uncle and stuff. And the kid Speed says, kick ass. And she looks like at the camera and says, kick ass.
Kick ass.
Because both I'm sorry, I cannot remember the actors.
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
And who's the actor that plays Quicksilver in this right now?
Evan Peters.
Evan Peters. Both of them were in Kick Ass. So I thought that was a really funny, quick little Easter egg.
Yes, I love that stuff.
Shows that her kids are getting their own powers. One has the power of speed like his uncle, and the other kid has maybe some kind of chaos
magic going on. Yeah. And the interesting about Speed is that both Quicksilver or Evan Peters, Pietro, and then also Tommy later on, they both say, I feel the need for speed, which could be also a reference to Tommy becoming Speed later on, because that is his name in the comics. So on the flip side, while they're still doing all of that, Omar kind of explained Vision doing his walkabout in the outskirts of Westview.
He started different people
and seeing that there's people who aren't really active and things like that. And then you have the threesome back outside of the barrier have sneaked into Sword's, bases, and of course Darcy, because she's not only a whatever she was in the beginning, some kind of scientist.
Was like I can't remember.
Astrophysicist. She's not only an astrophysicist.
Oh my
she's
goodness!
also like a hacker. She's an astrophysicist and a hacker. She's multi-talented.
Whoops, wrong GIF.
So she's able to hack into the Sword system, and she realizes that Hayward has found a way to track all the people and movement inside the barrier, and B, they seem to be tracking just Vision. They have a very particular attention on Vision. And she also dredges up some files on something called cataracts, which is with the project they had when they had Vision's body. So, which cataracts, in your eyes. And so that's a play on the whole idea of vision. And, So clearly, Sword needs Vision for something. And given the fact that they even he told Monica early on in the season that they were moving to building AI, not just monitoring AI that's weaponized, kind of can give you a hint at what maybe Sword may be technically AIM in this scenario. They may not be necessarily the good guys in our journey. They may be not like another Hydra, but they're not necessarily the good guys either. So kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, it was hit or miss. So Monica decides she's going to go back in there, Darcy, and then Darcy's saying something that's really interesting, which also could be a hint at what's to come from Monica, where she says, you can't go back in there because it already completely rewrote your cells once. What happens if you go in again? So she is saying that what the magic is somehow rewriting Monica's body and what is happening.
That was pretty interesting because that means that she does have reality warping powers. Maybe she wasn't aware of it. And has she done this before? And if that's true, then could possibly Photon be one of the mutants?
That's what I was thinking. Instead of like mutants and what we think of, are they created from magic? Which there could still be that whole idea of prejudice against those that, you know, created with superhuman abilities. Which is clear that Hayward doesn't like super powered individuals. He made it perfectly clear he didn't like any of them. Anyone who's been created for superhuman strength, he probably doesn't like Spider-Man. He doesn't like Carol Danvers, obviously. No. So he definitely doesn't like Wanda. So Monica says she doesn't care. She's going to go in. So she's trying to decide what she's going to do. And then her and Jimmy decide they're going to visit her aerospace engineer friend, so her guy. So that'll be interesting when John Krasinski shows up in the next episode. So they're getting ready to do that. And meanwhile, Vision, he ends up. So what happens is he ends up at the edge of town.
This was mentioned a couple of times and throughout the episode where she tells the kids, yes, but don't forget, don't go past Ellis Street or Ellis Avenue, right? So that's where Vision ends up. That's where he ends up finding somebody. And I'll let Amanda take it back.
Yeah. So he ends up finding Agnes, and she's kind of like frozen in her car, like not knowing what she's doing. And when he touches her, head, she's saying she had made a wrong turn. And when she finally touches her head, she freaks out. She looks at him and says, "You're an Avenger. Are you here to help us? You're an Avenger." And he's like, "What's an Avenger?"
You're right.
She's like, and she tells him, she's like, "You're dead. You're dead." And she starts freaking out. He's like, "I'm not. What?" And so
she was worried that she was dead. So then
she was dead because
does that make you think that there goes any theory that she was behind any of this, or is she playing both of them? Like, because for the longest time, everybody's she works for Mephisto. She must be Nightmare. Like everybody.
Yes, it could be, but it's really interesting that she would go through all those lengths unless she knew that Vision was going to end up out there. And why would she let Vision? I can see why she would let Vision go out there so that Wanda could do what she does at the end. So, so he decides to put her back under her spell, and she goes, "Oh well."
He thinks she was faking the stupidity, and so does Andrew, going for the Oscar.
Yeah, Agnes
also agrees. She's playing.
I'll be interested to see if she's actually playing them, or if she's something else.
So Ellis Avenue, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Because most people,
Jesus. Ellis Avenue. What you said it was a callback to Iron Man 3. What is Ellis Avenue in that?
Yeah, because I'm not feeling that. Because everyone's take has been it's Warren Ellis because he did because they did Next Wave Agents of Hate, which Monica Rambeau was in, and so that's why.
This is an important question. No, baby, I'm good. Thank you. I've got some.
So,
President Ellis? President Ellis? Was that his name? I couldn't remember.
Oh, the president's name was Ellis? It could be a reference to the president. But by this point, we're talking about 5 years in the future. We're talking 7 or 8 more years in the I think that they would want to, not a nod to Iron Man 3, but I think it might be a Warren Ellis.
Pick some beer up. I don't think there's enough for you. Love you, baby.
So, so Wanda and Pietro, they're in the town square, which is where that Halloween spectacular thing's supposed to happen that Agnes had gotten lost on her way to find. And which, did she really get lost is the question, because she actually said in the beginning of the season, she showed up after they showed up.
Yeah. And
she was visiting her mother-in-law. So now it kind of begs the question of how long had she been in there? Which is the interesting question on Agnes's story as a whole, because they couldn't find her either when they were looking for her real world persona. So Wanda and Quicksilver kind of sit down and they have like this chat, and he looks at her like he's so impressed. Like, how did you do it? He's like, how did these kids, like, where would you put the kids for all this time? Were they just sleeping in their beds until you had until you had a little comic spectacular? Yes, you want to interrupt.
No, that's the last time. I'll be right back. You got this.
Okay. So they are having a little talk about all of this, about what happened, like how impressed he is, that where the kids come from, and, they were sleeping in their beds until you decide to have a Christmas special or Halloween special, and then you just wake them all up and they do their thing. And, makes sense just for like special Halloween cameo. And he just asks her, how did you do it? And she goes, I don't know. Again, this is the second time she kind of reiterates she's not really sure how she did this. And all she remembers is that she was lonely. And then this kind of happened. So we come to realize now that Wanda clearly has created all this, but whether or not she was the sole mastermind behind all of this is still the question at large. So once all this happens, Vision decides he's going to try to go beyond Ellis Ave, and he does, and he finds the barrier, and he starts to go through the barrier, and of course that signals everyone from Sword, so they're all on the other side, and he pushes his way through, and he kind of falls to his knees in a scene that's very reminiscent of when he is on his knees during Infinity War, getting the Mind Stone ripped out of his head from Wanda. So you have him, and instead of like asking for help for himself, he's telling them, these people in here need help. You need to go help these people, which is very reminiscent of Vision's personality, because even during Infinity War, Wanda didn't want to give him up for everyone else. And he said, no, you have to do this to save the world. You have to kill me to save the world. So regardless of whether or not he remembers who he is, his personality, what's inside of him, who he is as a person, has never changed, which I think is a very poignant part. So he's obviously struggling. Parts of him are flying off, and they're all just kind of standing there. And then Darcy comes up screaming, you're killing him. You have to save him. And of course, they trap her. They decide to stop her, and then they lock her up with some handcuffs to a car. And then on the other side of the barrier, Tommy can hear his father. So Billy can hear his father. I'm just like Evan Peters or Quicksilver. I can't remember which twin is which. So Billy can hear his father. And so obviously his Wiccan powers are starting to manifest. And he also manages to stop his brother, who's running around like crazy in his speed. And he's like, whoa, Billy, that's so cool. He's like, Dad's in trouble. We got to go get Mom. So they go and run to get Wanda. And then Quicksilver makes a kind of joke about how your husband can't die twice or something like that. And in her anger, she shoots out her red wiggly magic and throws him in. Oh yeah. She also sees him dead once. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I caught this Easter egg.
Good. Okay. That's when she blows him into the haystack.
And then Samelman, what did I tell you, was the first production assistant? Right? I think it's what I told you.
You said the first production assistant on WandaVision.
It was Janelle Samelman. She was the first assistant director.
Yes.
On WandaVision. So I don't know who Dr. Rivas is. But Janelle Samerman, that's who that is. So I figured the graves were important, because whenever you see those kind of things in these type of shows or movies, they tend to have some kind of Easter egg hidden in them.
Yeah. Just like when they put The Incredibles and The Parent Trap on the movie theater, and the first thing my husband, that's true, he did die twice thanks to the time stone. God, that must suck. I hope he never has to remember that. No, but we did notice that they had Incredibles and Parent Trap, and he's like, those come out in the same year? I said, no.
WandaVision is awful. You're not liking it?
Well, I'm sorry,
TV is better. Is that Detective Conan television? Detective Conan? DCTV? Yeah. I don't know what that is. What's DCTV?
It's DC Comics. You know what it is. Linda, I'm here. And anyways, so they come and so Wanda decides to use her magic, and she starts expanding the barrier to save Vision. And all the Sword agents are scrambling.
Cool scene.
It was the Sword agents are scrambling, trying to get away, but of course they can't. And as the barrier's coming over them, they start to turn into a circus, which is exactly what she probably thinks a lot of that stuff is a 3-ring circus, because really that is how government agencies work. And of course, Darcy couldn't escape it, so she is now sucked into it. And Omar, what's your theory on what she's going to become?
She's going to be my bearded lady.
Bearded lady.
Or she's going to be Rogue. There.
Yep. So you see, as they're running away, they're turning into whatever they're in the new Vision. The only ones who are able to escape it are Jimmy and Monica. So next episode, Jimmy and Monica looks like they're going to be hanging out with her aerospace engineer friend. So that's kind of how the episode ends. So it ends with Vader expanding, and it's clear her powers are far more powerful than she expected.
The only thing we didn't talk about was the ad, and the ad was this was probably my favorite ad of this whole.
It reminded me so much of something I saw when I was a child.
It was such a '90s commercial for, like, I don't know, fruit striped gum,
yogurt, like all that stuff.
Yeah, and it was so creepy. And it's just, what is it? Yo
Magic, which is like yogurt. It's Yo Magic yogurt. It's just like yogurt.
Awesome. I loved it. So I think, Amanda covered everything. This was a really interesting episode full of Easter. I thought this episode probably had the most Easter eggs. No, I was kidding. I love this woman. I love this woman, but she aggravates me, especially her character Darcy. And I love this woman, but there's no way they're gonna cast her as a mutant. I mean, it's just not happening.
No, it's not happening.
Commercials are dark as hell. The demons are feeding on. So did you notice that when, like, Pietro was playing with the kids, he was saying some kind of like
he's like the
things.
Well, and so they think like
is he Mephisto?
Well, I don't know, because one of the things they say, he said Billy was afraid of him because he sleeps during the day like a vampire, which could be a reference to him, siphoning energy or something, siphoning energy off of Wanda. Not that he is the character, but I guess Mephisto could be doing that. Nightmare is also someone who would create nightmares in order to siphon off that energy. That's how he feeds himself in essence. So it could be Nightmare still. But they do mention, he says quotes with hell a lot, or demons and throughout the thing. So there's a possibility those could all be clues to that there's something more devious at work, that it could be Mephisto, whatever. Or Nightmare or someone like that we wouldn't expect.
I can't wait for Mephisto to show up in Falcon Winter Soldier, and that's the red herring. I hate Darcy in the Thor movies, but she's fine. Actually, she's okay.
Yes, I agree. She's not that bad in this. I think once she didn't have Mew Mew to deal with, I think she's a much better character.
All right, Amanda, say it with the people.
Mephisto.
I always said Mephisto, but you can say it however you want to, if you want to, until the Mephisto appears. So he said, "Raise hell, demon spawn."
Yeah, he said something else again. But he makes the comment about,
just showed up.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny. There's Amanda's sister.
Yep.
Sissy is here. Are you calling her Sissy, or are you saying you're Sissy and you're here? Okay. Look.
Yes.
Mephisto. That's how I say it.
Fine. Whatever you want to say. I'm going to say tomato. You say tomato.
I never say tomato. I say tomato. Easter egg missed the Black Knight. How do we miss the Black Knight?
I don't know. Apparently, a lot of people did, because I looked up a lot of Easter eggs to make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't know. You'll have to inform me on where that came from. So,
wait. So, for real, I didn't see the Black Knight in here. Dan or Jon Snow? Which character? Because Jon Snow's playing him, right?
Jon Snow's Black Knight. Wait, it was Jon Snow. Oh, there is that one joke I forgot that she said, "You don't have an accent," when she's talking about him. He's like, "Well, you don't either."
She said, "What happened to your accent?"
Yeah, and he said, "I don't know what happened to yours," which is a very good play on every fan. Yes, Happy Lunar New Year, which is a good play on a lot of fans.
We don't speak those names, like Voldemort,
like Mephisto.
No, to Mephisto. Now everybody's Mephisto con leche.
But anyway, so it could be Mephisto, it could be Nightmare, but overall, this might be one of my favorite episodes. I love the 90s, early 2000s twist vibe to it. The kids are great. I want Evan Peters not to just be a cameo, but I hope he sticks around, but I don't know what their plan is for him.
I'll say that kid
can act his way out of paper.
Say what you will. I love Days of Future Past. It's one of my favorite X-Men.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm not a fan of Apocalypse, but that scene in Apocalypse, man, he was owning that scene. I loved him in Amy says hi, by the way. I loved him in everything. You're FaceTiming and watching our show, Jenny. Stay focused. These millennials, man. Or I'm sorry, what is she? Gen Z?
She's millennial still. I think she's on the cusp.
Okay. So where the hell was I?
I don't know.
But
They said there's a kid dressed at a Black Knight Halloween costume.
See, I saw a kid dressed as Hit Girl. That's the only one I caught. But I was like, well, it could just be a kid that's dressed with a purple wig running around with a cape.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah.
Cool. I was looking for Avengers or X-Men. I didn't have that much time to pause it. We will see
a lot.
Will we see a reanimated Tony corpse later? He's the reason Vision is alive and the reason why Wanda wants to escape life.
No, probably not, because that would cost a lot of money for them
to get
Tony Stark. It'd have to be just like how it would just have to be what Spider-Man did when it's just a skeleton in like Far From Home. They can't afford to bring. They don't want to spend that money. He's done. He's dead. It's a lot of money to put Robert. Apparently the cost of Raja and Drew just to do like 5 minutes of screen time in Spider-Man Homecoming was astronomical. So for a TV series that they're doing,
sorry guys. Jr. getting that check, man.
Yeah, that's why he's not in a rush to work again. That's why he could bomb this thing like Dr. Doolittle and be okay.
Yeah, he's doing artsy stuff like Dr. Doolittle now.
That is not artsy, guys.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Brian.
It's not artsy.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. They nail it on the nostalgia factor, getting the era right. And Evan Peters and Elizabeth Olsen, man, as brother and sister, their chemistry is off the charts. I love it.
Yeah, it was good.
They really worked so well together that I almost wish they had just casted them in the original.
Okay. To be fair, we didn't get that much of Quicksilver and Scarlet.
No, and the Quicksilver in the MCU is much more serious character. I
like this take on Pietro, like, because in the comic books, he's a very misunderstood character. In the comic books, unless you've read Peter David's X Factor, he literally is a dickhead. Like, anybody ever reading a comic book that has picked up anything but X Factor, they're like, man, this Quicksilver guy's kind of a douchebag. He's done a lot of crappy things, but he's a really complex character, and I like the way Evan Peters plays him. I think it's a good take on his character.
Yeah,
I would like to see, if anything, James Spader show up as one of.
He has mentioned that several times on our shows about this.
I've mentioned that.
If you're listening,
I also
Kevin Feige, if you're listening,
Kevin Feige, I know you're listening because that's why you got Evan Peters in there for me.
Yes,
this was filmed.
Oh, did you also notice his mom tattoo on him?
No, where was it?
It's on his arm, which could be like a multiverse of madness,
There goes the theories. Okay, let me hear it.
No, I don't think it's a theory. It's an Easter egg. It could just be an Easter egg.
It says mom?
It says mom, yeah. In like red, black, red. I think it's like red, black, red, which I think the colors of the multiverse of madness tagline under Doctor Strange are red and black. So it could just be a funny Easter egg noting that this is going to have to do something with Doctor Strange later on. It's not like it's a theory that his tattoo means something to the whole thing.
It's totally means something.
Yeah, because what I'm more
OnlyFans mutants, mom's own mutants. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm making that up. I'm sure it has something to do with mutants. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe.
Amanda, what is on your shirt? So we can get one for your sister.
It is a near mint condition shirt, guys, but you can get on Redbubble. And while we're on the topic, guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. Not the dislike button, hit the like button.
That's right. Please.
Yeah. Tell us how good we are and keep us high on the channel for you.
It's Friday.
Visit Redbubble and you can get some cool near mint condition merchandise. I always say at the end of the shows, and I never wear it.
And now she wore it.
Now I can say it.
And that's some good marketing right there. You put that on your sister and you, and we go to a convention. Marketing 101. Martha or mutants. I like that.
Martha.
Pretty sure it is all Wanda, as Monica said. And if it is, that's what I like.
Dean, I know. I've been watching Dean's comments going through. Has been talking, and he's one of those kind of like how I am. At the same time, is convinced that there's no real person behind it. Mm-hmm. That we're not going to get, because I think it would be much more devastating to find out that Wanda's powers are truly capable of. I'd hate to see that she really has no agency at all, and this is all someone else pulling her strings and just using her magic. Whereas her grief, because think about it. I was thinking about this today about Endgame, where, at the end of Endgame, she kind of was left with no one, right? Like Hawkeye kind of did his thing, and they had a conversation, right, about what next. But he has his own TV show, Falcon and Winter Soldier. But what, like, she didn't have anyone. She was never close to any other Avengers minus Vision, who she fell in love with. She is considered an enemy of the state technically still. Let's forget I doubt they've really kind of. Oh, there we go.
I am not using mom instead of Omni.
That's weird.
Look, everybody's doing it now. Masterpiece of Mac. So Dying Breed Collectors was saying that is his
his real tattoo.
Yeah,
well, that's cute.
So there goes he's out the
getting all the comic nerds just to go crazy. Good on him. But for Wanda, she's still kind of technically an enemy of the state, because let's keep in mind, that 5 years later and everything like that, it's not like that changed. They still want to hold her accountable. Clearly, there's still that anger towards people like her, given how Hayward acted in response to everything that's going on, thinking that we need to take her out. And Monica brings up some great points. What if you take her out? How do you know it's going to solve all this? How do you know it's going to end all this? We don't. Yeah. And she thinks that Wanda is a solution by talking to her, by getting. So I think that in some of the later trailers for the later half of the season, there's some therapy kind of things going on. So I have a feeling we're going to get real psychological in this show.
Where do we go from this? Like, do we know that we're going to go into, okay, if this is the 90s, then we're going to early aughts, and then we're going to
get a Modern Family next, which
how many episodes are left? Three.
That's it. Just 3 episodes. We're definitely going to get a Modern Family vibe. And then I think that Monica and her little aerospace engineer friend.
You mean John Krasinski that you're pulling from another show? Okay.
I think they're going to have to come in and they're going to use whatever he has to break through the barrier without their molecular bodies getting affected in order to get to her. Is what I think is going to help.
Now I can get down behind that tattoo right now. On Mondays. I like that. I'll go crazy if Boba show. Now, dude, I said I would go crazy if Evan Peters Quicksilver showed up. I'm gonna go even crazier if we get a cameo by Magneto or Professor X. Like that's gonna be mind blowing.
If we do,
even if it's just Patrick Stewart's sexy voice, just that's it. Like that's all I need. I don't need him physically there. Maybe some bald head, like somebody else's bald head, not his own, but just his voice. To me, my X-Men or something like that. Oh, wow!
Exactly.
I got really excited. All right, Amanda. Yeah. Wanda has repeatedly said she doesn't know how or why.
No, I get that. I get that, Jay Blue. She doesn't really know why. She just said she was lonely. So yeah, maybe someone talked to her and did it. But at the same time, I think that powerful things can happen from grief. And I think that's what this show is trying to explore. And I think that would give more weight to what's going on than, well, just someone manipulated her and took advantage of her. No. How about her grief manifested this because she was lonely and sad and she is back in the real world and everything is flooding back to her. Because the last we saw of her was immediately like following Tony Stark's death and the defeat of Thanos. We don't know what her psyche plays upon when everyone she really cares about is gone. I mean, Tony, all these people who are close to her, Captain America, who really cared for her too, he's dead. I mean, you have to think about it. I would, I don't want to, I think it's taking it all at face value that I think that's also not taking it at face value, but I think that the writers are trying to make everyone think it's one thing, but it's really not. I think they're trying to bait and switch people a little bit and make everyone think we're going to get some big villain. And then she turns out to be, not that she's a villain, but she turns out to be her own worst enemy.
I would love for her. I want a story arc like that where
especially if the leaks for Spider-Man are true. And that makes more sense for her to be the enemy of it all.
I'm just saying if she goes into villain mode, like to see the transition like that, to see the study of someone.
A lot better than all the Dark Phoenix ones we've gotten.
Okay, well, I wasn't gonna I was actually gonna think I was thinking more along the lines of, and this is a spoiler for Game of Thrones if nobody's seen the final season, but if you don't care, just in case, spoilers for Game of Thrones. Yeah, to see someone turn a little bit slower than, I don't know, Daenerys turning like in the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want to see. And then again, I also want to see, they could do 2 red herrings. Yeah, she could be behind. And then at the very end, it could be Mephisto pulling the strings or Nightmare. somebody else pulling the
And
string.
they could reveal it right at the end of this episode of the season, but I don't know. It could be either or.
What if all this time Far From Home takes place in Wanda's reality? That has now affected the world, but no one knows except Dr.
I hate that I read the 4chan leaks on Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, can we not talk about those?
Because reading those, I'm like, I don't think that theory's gonna work. I don't think that theory.
I mean, we don't know.
We don't know if the leaks are true.
Also been wrong too. Like,
yeah, true, but yeah.
What's his face? Tom Harlan. They did do my girl Daenerys.
How do you say Cap's old, not dead, Sugar Man? He died.
Captain America? No, he didn't.
Well, no, because in Falcon Winter Soldier, I thought they have his. I thought they go to.
No, we have a funeral in the trailer. We don't know whose funeral it is.
Okay, I assumed he died. Well, he's old regardless, and he's doing his own thing.
Dude, this is comic books. They're gonna reverse him and bring him back stronger and better than ever. And they're gonna give him a facelift. They're gonna give him a facelift. They're gonna give him someone else's face, a new actor.
Yeah.
Yes, Game of Thrones. Although I did like the episode of Game of Thrones where they go up north. Like,
well, that's the only problem I have with if it's going to be someone else pulling the strings, the slow burn, and then we only have 3 episodes left, and clearly we're not any closer to figuring out who it is. Unless it's like a bigger reveal at the end of the season, it is going to be like they're rushing it, and that could suck.
Yeah, and I don't want that to happen.
And I don't want that either. So if it's gonna be someone else, they better start giving us better hints at it this time around.
You know what? With a character like Wanda, you can just recast Captain America too, baby. We're going to recast him younger, sexier, and with a 20-year contract instead of 10. That's how they do it. Oh, yeah. Apparently John Carlos is saying Chris Evans signed a new deal, so he could come back. What? He did?
Maybe, yeah.
Where's everybody getting all this information? I get my information from
I should really ask my sister since she works for a talent agency.
No, she would get in trouble. Don't do that.
She would, yes. She told me about people from Marvel she's had discussions with that I can't talk about. So, but I can't tell that to you.
You can't get sexier than Chris Evans. Really? Not what's his name? What about Chris Hemsworth or Chris Elliott?
Oh, Carly, you are so accurate. God bless. Look at that beard. Look at that beard and those arms.
Are you done?
Carly, that's for you.
Are you and Carly done? You and Carly done?
That's for you right there. That man right there.
All right. Cool.
Oops.
Quit it! Gosh. Can we see the White Vision? I was thinking like when he died in Infinity War, that was kind of our White Vision Easter egg, like when he pulls out the stone from him.
Mm-hmm.
So where is my? Did you delete my Salma? No, you did not. There she is.
We got to keep her around for when we start doing the Eternals reviews.
Oh yes, yeah. What about Chris Farley? Sexier than Chris Farley? I don't think so. That body takes too much work. I'm more of a depressed.
That Dubai does take a lot of work and a lot of eating like low calorie protein heavy food.
That beard is doing things to me.
You're right. That beard is intense.
We need to use Captain America GIF more. That's not even a Captain America GIF. Like it's just Chris Evans sitting at home with a beard.
Hold on. So the toys leaked who's behind WandaVision could be fake though. So who the toys...
No. Wait. I heard that the toy leaks were fake, by the way.
Oh, they were?
That is something I heard. Apparently people were telling people not to go on Twitter because, man, people are just jerks for spoiling things. But yeah, apparently they were on Twitter and then the toy company said, no, that is a total fake out. It's not one of ours. So that's
yeah,
but I will say that in comic books, like toys have leaked a lot of things. I remember Infinite Crisis, the leak of Superboy Prime wearing the Anti-Monitor's armor, that was leaked by a toy like 2 months before the issue came out. I was so pissed.
Yeah. No, the fake toy was that she was a gender. The fake toy they say is not real. That she was a gender swap Nightmare, which I wanted Nightmare to be the villain, not Mephisto, because I have a soft spot for Nightmare, and I think he was Doctor Strange's first villain, wasn't he? And I would love to see him in Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness.
Well, isn't he the rumored villain in Doctor Strange 2, though? For the longest time?
He was. And I love him, and I would love to have him. Just kind of like people always want Kraven in Spider-Man. We have yet to see a Kraven, which we might see.
You want Kraven in Spider-Man.
Because I think Kraven's Last Hunt is one of the best comic books.
It totally is. But let's have throw Kraven's Last Hunt into the 3-hour epic with everybody in it.
Well, you never know. They'll make it work.
Oh my gosh. Adidas BB is saying Feige.
What about Feige?
If you say his name, he will be summoned. That's how.
Is he coming out here?
No, I'm seeing a soft spot for Nightmare. What? She likes bad dudes. No,
I do. I have a soft spot for Nightmare. He looks pretty awesome in some of the Doctor Strange. Like when you see him show up in like Jason Aaron's Doctor Strange and stuff, he's a pretty cool villain. I wouldn't mind having him.
He's a great villain. So apparently Keanu was offered.
Yeah.
What?
That's not who I would envision for Kraven.
Why not?
I don't think that I don't think he's that kind of an assassin. I don't know. That's not who I envision for Kraven.
You don't
think he's scarier. He needs to be meatier.
He needs to be more not Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, not Keanu Reeves.
Bulkier.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves can play a lot of things. If you want to make a Moon Knight, which I guess he's not going to be now, that was
Pedro Pascal.
No, it's Oscar.
That guy's in everything.
But yeah, anyways, no, I don't know if that's really true or not. I could see a lot of actors wanting their spot in the MCU at some point. So.
Oh yeah, but I mean, honestly, let's. Okay, here's something that I guess Tavon and I agree on. I love Keanu Reeves. I think he is a wonderful human being, probably one of the best human beings on this planet. If you read about like what's happened to him in his life, he's had a pretty shitty life, and he is a wonderful human being for everything that he's done for humanity. His acting ability, not the greatest, but that's just my opinion. I don't think he's a horrible, but he gets a pass, right? Like there's certain people in this world, whether they're actors or comic book writers or comic book artists, that because they're genuine good people, they get a pass. At least with me. Like Brandon Fraser's another one.
But doesn't mean we cast him as Kraven.
He gets a pass.
No, he doesn't. But
All
no,
right.
that's on the point of that's what I forgot to mention because this time I read in this thing that I was talking about the leak about Nightmare.
Forget to mention.
Oh, this is what the theory. So apparently, Marvel wanted to use Mephisto, but they are using Nightmare because one of their biggest markets, China, has banned any media that promotes cults or superstition, and a depiction of the devil in a post-satanic panic world would mean that Mephisto is off the table, whereas Nightmare is not the devil, so he's not a satanic kind of being. So for them to be able to show, I guess, WandaVision or anything else like in the future over there, they might use Nightmare instead, which actually is a very interesting theory because we know Disney does play to their China market pretty heavily because they know how much money they That's why Spider-Man is Spider-Man.
He's going to do whatever he wants to do. Dude, Bill and Ted.
Who's going to do whatever they want to do? Kevin Feige?
Yes.
Well, at the same time, I think they're also going to take note of their markets. I think that's...
everybody's staying at home anyway. It's not like you're going to open a grand theater opening anymore like we used to.
Theaters are open in China.
They're back. They're open 100%?
I don't know if they're open 100%, but enough that they're making money.
Huh. Okay, so Bill and Ted and John Wick, that acting.
That is acting.
You forgot Point Break.
Well, yeah. Dude, what about the lake house? What about the lake house? Everyone's forgetting about the lake house.
Dude, like what was the Dracula? Oh man, and
then God, Dracula.
A walkthrough. Not a walkthrough. Remember?
Oh my goodness.
What was it? The November? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I love Keanu Reeves. I think he's a wonderful human being, and he does kick ass. And he takes these roles seriously. Like when he was in The Matrix, he had to learn kung fu. So Isaiah is saying, I hope Mephisto is not behind WandaVision.
I'm with you.
How you doing, buddy? Peace and love, Lord Omar and Amanda. Saturday morning here in Malaysia. To all my Chinese friends here, Happy New Year. That's right. JT was saying Happy New Year earlier. That's right. It's a Chinese New Year. China is fully out of lockdown. What?
Yes, that's what I believe. They're completely open. Yeah.
Man, I need to go watch movies over there then.
Okay, good luck. It's going to cost you more to get over there than watch a damn movie.
Well, we'll get some super chats going and I'll get fun over there. You are not. Oh, wait, the line.
Hold on.
Dude, the line in the Matrix when he was like, "Why is this happening to me?" Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So bad, but still love Keanu.
Yes. Carly, this is something that me and Omar had this discussion on today. Omar, do you think they'll put Black Widow? So
you gonna ask me and not let me answer a question? Okay.
I sent Omar, we all know what Omar thinks because he talks about it all the time, but I sent Omar several news clippings today. First
of all,
CEO.
they're not news clippings. They're not news clippings. She didn't clip these out of a newspaper.
No, I did not. So, CEO of Disney in the latest stakeholder or shareholders meeting said they do not plan on releasing Black Widow.
They do not.
As a dual digital and theatrical release. It'll be a purely theatrical release. Then there is another article saying that Kevin Feige does not want and refuses to let. Nope.
Yep.
Kevin Feige refuses to let Black Widow be released digitally and in theaters. He wants it as a pure theatrical experience. And I think, Feige wants, Feige gets.
No. Wait. But so did Christopher Nolan with the whole Tenet thing. Like he was like, I want that. And then everybody.
Different.
Everybody criticized him. They were like, "How dare you, try to threaten people's lives so they can see your vision in full screen?" I mean, that's you're doing the same thing.
Now we're almost a year and a half into the pandemic with vaccine now.
True.
Versus we're only 3 or 4 months into the pandemic.
I don't know when YouTube entertainers get their vaccine, but I need to be up that list so I can go to conventions and go to China and watch the movies apparently because they're completely out of lockdown.
Yes.
So yes, we got a little rivalry bet, little friendly bet going that whether this is gonna. I mean, it's been an ongoing thing. As soon as the pandemic happened, I texted her and I said we're gonna be watching Black Widow on your couch. So that's kind of been the thing with us. So what do you all think? That's a good idea. Let's do that next poll. Let's do
our next poll. We're gonna post it. And then
chill, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it, and then you guys can vote on if you think that Black Widow is going to be either a pure theatrical released only digitally, or both digitally with a theatrical release on top of it, like a paid per digital, not a free digital. I don't think Disney's gonna be a free digital like Soul was. They're gonna make you pay for it like Mulan. So it's either gonna be one of those options. But if Feige doesn't want it to be, I mean, because they can't hold it back.
They're putting a pic of a man on his couch on this. Now, it's going to be pretty interesting because to win this bet, literally they could hold. I mean, it is Disney and it's Marvel. They literally could hold it off as long as possible. They could say, okay, you know what? What is the release date right now?
May of 2021.
I think
May of 2021.
If they want to go theatrical, completely theatrical and no streaming, they're going to have to pump their brakes and say, okay, let's release it in the fall. That's just my opinion, because I think a lot more people will have, vaccinated by then. Theaters will be open up 50%, 75% capacity. Some of them, that's what we're hoping, but wishful thinking maybe. But May just seems really close because we're still we're looking at the chart of people that are getting these vaccines. They're not all the way up. I mean, some of them are up into April. So
it's true. But I mean, at the same time, you have to look at if you look at box office, like Wonder Woman came out in December or late December, and for something that came out where we didn't even have vaccines yet, it still didn't do that terribly at the bottom. Now, obviously, it didn't do as well as Wonder Woman would have done if it was before the pandemic. But
it got a lot of subscribers on HBO Max.
It made but see, not everyone has HBO Max. Just like not everyone has Disney Plus either, Omar. So not overseas. So Wonder Woman, while it only made 40 mil so far domestically, it's actually made 114 mil internationally. So 154 mil worldwide, which is not a bad number considering that we still have a lot of places where most of the theaters are shut down, etc. So if you wait a few more months, more vaccines are happening. I can see them trying to do a purely theatrical release, mainly because they want to get Black Widow out at this point.
I know they do. I mean, they can't move forward with anything else because then we're going to get spoilers in other TV shows.
Yep. So I'm assuming Falcon and Winter Soldier will have some spoilers or whatever the case may be.
Now, really quick, we're going to read this, and then I got to bounce. But regarding Black Widow, this is something that Amanda told me, too.
Yes,
regarding Black Widow, apparently it can't go on streaming because of a clause in ScarJo. By the way, for those people that don't know, that is Scarlett Johansson. I got you all.
Yep.
ScarJo's contract. They could get sued if it's not a theatrical release. That's crazy. I wonder, but I mean, with something like this, I mean, that was before pandemic, right?
Yeah.
With something this big, I'm sure she's going to be more lenient towards like, you know what? That's okay. We can let that slide. But we will see. And on that note, I do have to bounce.
Yes. So
this is a lot of fun. And how did the No More Mutants get resolved? The 198? Oh, you need to read Avengers, Young Avengers, Children's Crusade.
I was like, well, we could go into that, but Omar has or
you can join our Patreon, and that's where I'm going to be doing a video. We will be back next week, and next week I'll be with Amanda chilling, and we're going to do it old school style.
Yes.
At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us back on Wednesday, where we do our regular comic book movie news show. Yes.
And we're going to be doing, me and Omar, in continuation of our Nerds and Romance month. So next Wednesday, we'll not only be talking about the current movie or comic book movie and TV news, but also we'll be discussing our own superhero romantic comedies that we created ourselves. We are going to go fanfic hard, guys. So get ready. Come with your own fanfics because I'm super excited for it. So I hope everyone has some great ideas.
Yes. Yes, I will be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the Q&A. But Amanda?
Yes, I'll sign us off. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at @NearMintCon. Check out our Redbubble if you want some great Near Mint condition merchandise. And remember to also check us out on Patreon if you want to support us for $1 a month or more. You can get some really cool things like join Omar for a private Ask Me Anything.
Anything goes.
On Fridays nights. Private, super private. And of course, guys, last but not least, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint. Have a great evening, and we will see everyone next Wednesday.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
And I'll see everybody tomorrow.
Yes, he'll see everyone tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.